Oké.
Zullen wij... we zijn nog niet... het is nog geen tijd, hè?
Nee, oké, nog wachten. Ik zal het knopje doen.
Ja. Moet nog wel eigenlijk even een selfie maken, hè? Gewoon met
Aan het einde. Ja, zullen we beginnen?
Nee, het is nog
Oh,
geen...
je bent nog te vroeg. Oh, oké, ja, nee. Nou, geven ze een minuut select. Ja.
Yeah, okay. Because of the time schedule, we want to start. Can you take a seat, please? Okay, thank you. Welcome at LF Energy Summit 2023. Welcome at the presentation about GXF, the Grid Exchange Fabric, a digitalization solution for our energy transition. My name is Maarten Mulder, product owner at Alliander and responsible for the GXF project. And with GXF we want to bring together industry leaders, utilities, developers and innovators to drive the digitalization and collaboration in the energy sector.
I'm Robert Tusveld, solution architect within Alliander. At Alliander we have several use cases implemented already using the GXF platform. And with the experience that we gained doing these developments and building these use cases, we've gained a lot of experience with that, and we want to share that experience with other parties in the open source community, so we can help them get further on and move forward in the energy transition.
Okay, for today's agenda, we want to start with our company introduction, and I think a few of them heard it already because it's all about Alliander. We're going to tell you something about the history of GXF. In the past it was the open source grid platform, and then we want to focus on the possible use cases which are already in production, so proven quality. And a bit more about the platform and the architecture, the next steps in the near future, our roadmap, and after that we hope there's some time left for questions. Okay, to start with Alliander, Robert and I and over 7,000 colleagues work nowadays for Alliander, one of the 3 largest DSOs in the Netherlands. And due to the energy transition with over 10 billion in assets and 5.8 million customers, digitalization is a need for Alliander. All network operators, DSOs, face the same problems and the same limitations related to the energy transition, which is why it's almost natural for us to collaborate on solutions. Within Alliander, we are increasingly working with open source as contributors and also as maintainers. And my team is maintainer for GXF, where our developers currently working on this Alliander specific challenges, and we want to share them. Next.
Well, I don't know if everyone is familiar already with the Grid Exchange Fabric, so I want to give a short introduction. GXF, it's a communication platform that communicates with devices in the fields. As you see on the left, the platform is positioned in between the IT world on one side and the devices in the fields on the other side. And those are 2 completely different worlds. The IT world is fast moving, a lot of changes, and interfaces will only be active for a few years. as the devices in the field often are devices that are deployed for many years, sometimes even decades. So GXF is sort of an abstraction layer between those two worlds, connecting them together, and offers the functionality to manage those devices in the field. So besides getting the information from the devices, you also be able to manage those devices by having a complete lifecycle management tooling around that. And you do configuration management and firmware management as well with the GXF platform. The design principles that we used to design the platform are especially that it's open, so we don't want to get vendor lock-in or technology lock-in, so we want to keep it open, use open standards as much as possible, and let it be generic. So we'll be able to use it for several different use cases in the future, and don't let it be very specific the implementation. And we want it to be independent. In the past we saw that we were dependent on the roadmap of specific suppliers, and if we needed specific functionality but the suppliers didn't have that on the roadmap, it just didn't, they didn't realize it. So now we are in control by developing it ourselves or developing it by the community. So we're much more in control and defining what is necessary to build the platform to the future. And the last one is the most important. It has to be very scalable. So the principle was it should be able to manage several millions of devices in a single instance of the platform. So it must be very scalable, and that was a very important design principle that we used. A little bit of history about what Maarten started with. The platform was designed, or the first initiatives were in 2012, so a long time ago. And at that time, the platform was called OSGP, the Open Smart Grid Platform. And the things were very clear then. It had to be very scalable, fast, open, just things that we saw on the previous slide. And we started developing a use case for Alliander to manage the public lighting in the Alliander area in the Netherlands. During the first years, it was a lot of developing software, but also developing the hardware to get the devices in the fields. And in 2017, we released our first production use case, the public lighting. And in the years afterwards, we tried to develop new use cases as well. The first that we really implemented was the smart meter headend solution. And around 2020, we were already testing the smart meter headend. We rebranded OSGP to the Grid Exchange Fabric, and that was also the moment that we joined LF Energy as Alliander. And GXF became part of the products that LF Energy supplies. In 2021, the smart meter headend went into production, and we started migrating the existing smart meters that are in the houses in the Netherlands from the old system to the new system, which is a very long trajectory to do that, because we have millions of meters already. In 2022, we launched this low voltage measurements use case, in which we measure the low voltage network to find out where in the network are congestion problems at this moment.
Secondary substations.
Yeah, that's where we install those devices.
Yep.
And currently, we are working on a migration of the FlexOVL application. We're migrating it to containers, into a new environment. We're redesigning one of the applications that we use, And the smart meter headend is almost ready, migrating all the existing meters from the old system to the new system. So hopefully by the end of the year, the smart meter headend will be the dedicated system for the smart metering. And for the next years, we have a lot of plans and projects that we will start developing, and we will come back to that a little later.
Okay. The next one. Today we want to tell you more about our use cases, because in the past we talked about GXF as a platform, and yeah, what can we do with that platform? And today we are going to tell you what we do at Alliander with GXF. And the first use case is public lighting. I want to ask you who is familiar with public lighting, which DSO, for example, needs to do something with public lighting. Only one. Are there more? No. Okay. Thanks. Yeah, like Robert told us, public lighting was our first use case, and in the Netherlands it's a statutory task for a network operator. And so that's on behalf of the government of the Netherlands. And on the right hand side you can see our network, and you also can see all the devices which are rolled out for public lighting. And there you can see that we have more than 18,000 devices, or yeah, secondary substations where we put in public lighting. And here it is pretty small, but here you can see the device. That's the RTU for communicate with the public lighting. We made functionality on top of it so that the municipalities can decide themselves when to switch on and off the lights, so they can save energy. And in order to choose the switching moment more accurately, we also have implemented a measurement function based on lux values, so that it's more accurate to turn on the lights or turn off the lights. And the RTUs can run autonomously because when there is no power, public lighting is a need in the Netherlands. On top of GXF, we built 3 applications: an installation app to install the device, a net management app to give the possibility to the municipalities to communicate and communicate schemes to the devices. And after that, there is also an operator app for local support. The most important one, that's the net management app for the municipalities. We are remaking that application at this moment, and after the rebuild we will open source that as well. We also have other functions like managing accounts for the municipalities, but also burning our reports. And that's the first use case. Robert?
Yeah, I will go forward to the second, which are the low voltage measurements. In the Netherlands we have a lot of congestion problems. A lot of companies that want to extend their energy need to grow the company to next level aren't able to do that because the grid is just not strong enough on the different parts of the Netherlands. At least we think at a higher level. In detail, we just don't know it right now. So there was a need to get more insight in the low voltage power quality in the grid, and we started this project to measure the low voltage power quality all over the Netherlands. We started with a proof of concept in 2021, and that was very successful. And based on the results of that proof of concept, we could do all kinds of analysis to see whether or not there was a problem in that area. There was also a side effect, or side catch, in fact, that we also could find out that there was energy fraud in the area, and we could find places there was like illegal activities that we could find them and roll it up afterwards.
It's called non-technical losses.
That's right, yeah.
Producing wheat, we call that.
Yeah. Currently we are working on, in 2022, we designed the production-ready solution. And this year we started with the rollout of 2,500 devices in the field for this year, and more to come in the coming years. So this gives a very good insight in the power quality in the network. And we gain measurements from the field every 5 minutes, which are 5 minutes average values from all kinds of voltages, currents, and higher harmonics. Which are very good to have a good picture about how the quality looks like. And the information is transformed into the Alliander semantic model. And we're using this model to communicate it with all other parties within Alliander to do analysis and understand the information that we're publishing, so they can get the correct analysis based on that measurements. And now the third.
Yeah, the third chain. At the end of this year, all smart meters, we moved from a commercial product to our own smart meter head-end solution, which is built by Alliander. And for the smart meter head-end solution, GXF, our platform is the basic functionality. We run already in production with more than 3.4 million smart meters, and the outcome, it's more than 5 million readouts per day. So big numbers, and it's really stable. We also support firmware updates for smart meters, key changes and config changes. Smart metering and power quality data from the smart meters are really necessary for the success of the energy transition. Our solution is scalable, and we hope in the near future to collaborate with the Dutch energy sector, so the other parties in the Netherlands, and of course also outside the Netherlands. Smart metering is everywhere, so let's see what we can do. At this moment, the application is still closed source, but I hope after a while also this application from Alliander will be open source as well. Next.
We often get the question, what exactly is GXF, and where can I use it for, and what is it not? So we try to make an overall picture. What you see on the right side is the value chain for the low voltage measurements, and you see the red square. That's where GXF resides, and it's only a small link in the complete chain, and that's very important to know. But it's maybe the most important one in the complete chain, because it's the one that gets the information from the device and gets it to the central location, so it can be used by all other building blocks that we already have in place. So within Alliander, GXF has become a standard building block that we're using for all kinds of value chains where we get information from the field. We also have other building blocks that are in this picture as well, which is a tool for configuration management, for installation support, but also for asset management. We have a different building block, monitoring, and they all come together. And for each value chain that we design, we want to use all those building blocks. And if you look forward into the future, you'll see there are new value chains that we design, which look very similar to this picture, because we can reuse a lot of information that we already have in place.
Yeah, so for new change, this is the device side,
Yeah.
and we have to change that one. And here is the communication layer. You are going to tell us more about that after this slide.
Yeah, that's that's right. What we see here is that what is GXF? It's a central communication platform, and we were able to manage, monitor, control the information from the devices in the field. It offers lifecycle management functionality, and it's very extendable. And what isn't GXF? Well, it's not the complete chain, but just a small part of it. It's not an end-user application, but we're thinking about open sourcing them as well. It isn't hardware, but the hardware functionality is very close to the implementation that we're having because of the protocol implementation. And well, it's not a monitoring tool as well, but it offers monitoring tooling, the ability to check and monitor details within the platform. So it's not a complete value chain, but it's a building block that's easily integrated in everything that we have within Alliander. And that's something that really speeds up the development at our company. So we can start new value chains in the future and do that within a minimum amount of time. Very short something about the architecture. GXF is very secure, so it's built with zero trust in mind. So all throughout the software and throughout the platform, we have security measures in place. All communication is encrypted, but also in the infrastructure that hosts the platform, we also have a lot of security measurements there as well. It's very flexible and extendable, so you can add applications on top of the platform. You can add domains to it if you want to have a smart metering domain, a public lighting domain, but if you want something else which isn't already doesn't exist, you can extend it. We have a lot of industrial protocols already implemented, but new ones will guaranteed be developed as well. And well, you configure a device having a specific protocol implementation, so we can use that. And based on the specific use case, you select which components, which modules do you need for that situation. So this is the public lighting application. You see we use specific protocols and specific domains, and we have applications on top. This is the smart metering solution. We have different protocols and different domains, and also applications on top implemented. And this is the low voltage measurements solution, and we have a protocol as well selected, and well, there's some modules the same and different. And for this use case, we publish it on a Kafka topic, so the company can consume the data that we're publishing. And well, to give you an idea what functionality GXF can offer you more, and what future use cases could be designed, we have a small movie to show it to you. Oh. There's no sound, sorry. That's a pity.
Okay, otherwise we skip that part a little bit.
Yeah. Okay, then we go to the future use case.
Maybe next time. Okay, we go to the future use cases. As you can see in the timeline, we are accelerating. more and more digitalization is being implemented to gain better insights and to navigate through the energy transition with confidence. This acceleration also calls for standardization. Robert told us already something about that, but we believe in deploying gateway devices. So with one single communication line to a gateway device and connect several use cases to the gateway. Then we can speed up our work with new applications and more functions. It's also because of life cycle issue we have in a specific chain. So we are going to connect on the gateway device cathodic protection, cable oil pressure and fault detection, and those use cases are going to be connected on the battery powered gateway. And besides the battery powered gateway, we are also going to work on a MSR gateway, and on that one we are going to connect the public lighting, the low voltage measurements, and probably more quality measurements. But also other sensors like door sensors or temperature measurements, you name it. I think it's really necessary for our digitalization to give us the possibility to build more digitalization on an easy way, more standardized. So that's about the future use cases, and we are going to work on the battery powered gateway in the next quarter, so this year.
We're also going to work on the community side. We have a lot of things that we want to develop, and we want to make a step. Currently we are in the early adoption stage, but we want to upgrade to the next level of the life cycle of our product and go to the graduated stage. And to do that, we have to improve our software and improve the way we work, and we will do that in the coming time. And something that we really want is have collaboration with other parties in the Linux Foundation energy community, and if possible also outside it, so we can get more collaboration and more also information from other parties who want to work together with us. What improvements are we going to build? What we want to do is really have an easier startup. So if you want to start with GXF, it should be very easy to install an instance on a laptop or on a server and start experimenting with the code that we have. Currently, it's a little bit extensive to do that, but with the use of containers, which we are already using in production, we want to also offer that to the community to use that. We're going to improve our documentation as well, and we think about making the applications that we already developed also open source. That's a choice within our company to do that. And hopefully we will make them available very soon. And one important step is that we're currently working on an upgrade of GXF. Not only a technology update, but also a software update by going from a layered architecture to a more microservice-oriented architecture. So we are really looking forward to do that and make the next step in the life cycle of the product.
Yeah, and because of the time, we have to do a lot, really a lot, and the acceleration continues. So a few highlights on our roadmap, and you can find this on the LF Energy website. we are going to make the net management app open source for public lighting. So maybe it's interesting to work with that one. Containerized deployment, you told us about it. We are going to work on the GXF upgrade, more microservices, and we are going to implement a new protocol because of the gateway devices. This all and more can be found on the wiki on LF Energy. And yeah, if there are any questions, yeah, please ask. Otherwise, I will thank you for your attention and hope to see you around. Thanks.
Yeah.
So I have been working on application of blockchains in energy systems, and on a part-time basis, I've been working with impact scope. So